players how to play Magic, it's really great because especially when I'm teaching other kids, because I'm teaching the next generation. I'm getting more people into this game that's changed my life, and hopefully they'll be able to continue playing, and it just introduces them to something new. Before we get started, I'd like to get your name. So,
Christina.
Christina.
Ian Bailey.
Ian Bailey.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you. I'm Dana.
Nice to meet you, Dana.
So, we're going to start out with, usually you'll have 7 random cards in your hand. But to start out, we're going to make it easier, and you're going to choose 3 of the land cards. So, I have the mountains, you have plains, and you have swamps, and you're going to choose 3 of them. And now we're going to have 4 other cards. So you can look through, and any of the ones that aren't the land. So if they have a cost up here, you can choose 4 of any of those that seem interesting. So you can like the name, you can like the art, you can think that it just seems like a cool card. And you shuffle it so that it's randomized and you don't know what's coming next.
Do it like backwards so we can't see?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then when you're done, you can put it down. And this is going to be what's called your library, your stack of cards that you're going to gain new stuff from. For this, I'll have you go first. Okay. So in a turn, you'll play 1 land. And you can play 1 land each of your turns. And then you look for the cost. So the cost is up here. And so I have this little mountain symbol. So this symbol, and it appears on this card. So this is what the card can make. And so you make, and so then this one just costs 1 red. So if I have this, then I can do this. And then I have other cards that have 1 red and 1 other. So this one I need to use the red. And then I can use any color mana. So I can use a white, I could use a black, I could use one of the green ones. It's just whichever one, but I need to have at least 1 red, because sometimes you'll mix the colors together. So then you look and you see, is there anything that just has this white symbol?
No.
The symbol and so if you don't, then you can't do anything else and you'll end your turn.
So I'm going to end my turn and I'm going to pass to Dana.
Alright. Now on every other player's except the first player's turn, they get to draw. So because you went first, it was your first turn and you went first. So you don't draw. And then when it comes to my turn, I draw. Because if you go first, you get to play your cards sooner, and so you have a little bit more of an advantage. So then I'll draw my card, and I'll play one of my lands. Now I can play this card, but it says target creature, and the creatures are the ones with the power and toughness. So because there's no creatures, I don't want to cast it because it wouldn't do anything. So then I'll just pass the turn to you.
Okay, so...
And so you can draw a card, right?
Yeah, so first you draw a card.
Alright.
Draw a card from your pile, your library.
Okay. Bone splinters. What do I do?
That sounds cool.
So just,
Can I put that up here?
Alright.
That's part of your hand. Usually your hand would be secret and we wouldn't know, but for the purposes of learning.
And so now you're going to put one of your lands out there. And are there any cards that you can play? This one here has just 1.
Oh, this one says 1 and then like a skull. Does that...
That means that costs a total of 2 mana. So you need at 1 of these black mana for sure. And then this one can be, it's like a wild card. So you need 1 land, but it can be any land.
Oh, okay. So I'll just play this then.
Okay, so it says it needs an additional cost to cast it. So you'd have to sacrifice a creature, but right now you don't have any creatures, so you can just wait to cast this.
Okay. So
that's going to be much better later on when there's other scarier creatures. So it can kill something, and then you can sack like one of your smaller things that you don't want, and use it to kill one of the other creatures.
Alright, pass to you.
Alright, and I get to pull.
Yeah.
Oh, I got another land. And so now I can play.
Yeah, you can play 1 land per turn.
and I can pull out my residue reinforcements right now. This is a creature human soldier. Would you recommend that I play this card?
Yeah, so that's just a creature. So once it's on the board, then it can do stuff. But stuff like his bone splinters, my flow, stone infusion, they need other creatures in order to use them.
Okay.
So if I want to play this card, then I tap my 2 lands, correct?
Yeah, that signifies that you use them, and then on each of your turns, they'll untap, and it'll refresh your resources.
So basically when I tap them, it's like I'm activating this one here. So this is active now.
Alright.
Is it, when I have it out, is it like this, or?
Yeah, usually it's not with your lands, like you'll have your lands, and then you'll play your creatures in front of your lands.
Okay.
But some people do it differently. That's just like the most common way. And then when you play this creature, it says to make a 1/1 soldier token. So token's like an extra card that's not in your deck but can be created.
Oh, okay.
So like here's a 1/1 soldier. So it's another creature.
Okay.
So it has 1 power and 1 toughness. The first number is power, the second number is toughness. And so it deals 1 damage, but any 1 damage that's dealt to it, it will die.
Okay. So this is your power and this is your damage?
No, this is your power, this is like your health.
Okay.
Alright.
Alright. So at this point then I'll pass to you, right?
Okay. So then I'll draw my card, and then I'll play one of my lands. And then I can also tap my 2 mountains to signify that I've used them, and I'll cast my creature. So it has 1 power and 2 health. So its health is bigger than its power. And then it has some other abilities. So like trample is when if I were to like deal 1 damage to this, any remaining damage would go through to you. So we'll all start so for this game we'll start at 6 health. Usually you start at 20, but we can start at 6 health. So like if this had 2 power and that had 1 toughness, I would do 1 damage to your creature and 1 damage to you. Whereas otherwise, if yours had 2 power, mine had 1 toughness, it just deals both those points of damage to my creature because it doesn't have trample.
Alright.
And then my creature says that it can get bigger whenever I cast an instant or sorcery. So like cards like your bone splinters is a sorcery and this is an instant, which means it's not a creature, it won't stay on the board. Once it's used, it'll go into your graveyard or your discard pile.
Alright.
And then I've cast my spells and I can't do anything else, so I'll pass the turn over to you. I really like that MagiKids is here at Dreamhack because at Magic events, it's mostly people that play Magic, but at Dreamhack, there's all sorts of video games, and so they walk by here and they're like, oh, this is a new game, I want to try this. And so it gives them an extra audience to broaden the scope of Magic. Look to see if you have anything that costs 2 mana.
Alright. I suppose this Splatter Goblin will work.
Yeah.
Yes.
So do you want to activate that creature?
Yeah, I want to activate the creature.
Tap your 2 cards. Bless you. Okay. Now when they first go out, I remember being told that there's something like a...
Yeah, so it's called summoning sickness. So like on your next turn, you'll be able to attack, but they can't attack the turn they come in unless they say otherwise.
Okay, so it's my turn now, right? Okay.
And so you'll untap,
Okay, untap.
because now your resources are refreshing.
And I'm going to go in and, I've got another Plains. So I've got now 3 mana that I can play. And I'm going to look and see, I've got 2 more creatures. And I've already got a creature and a token creature, soldier. So join forces is kind of the only non-creature option I have here. Strategically, would this make sense? Up to 2 target creatures, they get 2+2 until the end of the turn.
It doesn't really matter. I mean, right now we're focused on like learning the game, so like strategy is super important. Later on, yeah, But this is basically saying is your 2 creatures will get an extra 2 power and 2 health for your turn. So once your turn ends, it'll go away.
Okay.
And if it takes any damage, it'll heal up, and then the extra power and toughness will go away.
Okay.
So you can do that and then get in for a bunch of damage, or you can cast one of your creatures. It's completely up to you.
Okay. Now, right now, just so that I want to, understand a little bit more about the strategy. Right now, you have your dwarf who will be coming out of summoning sickness. If I was to cast this, does that then kind of, you then have to make it just like, then I attack? Or?
Yeah, so if you were to give your creatures the buff and attack me, I have the option to block.
Okay.
Now, creatures can block the turn they come out, but they would have to be untapped. So, like, if you attack with this and then he attacks you, you won't be able to block because only untapped creatures can block. But they don't have to have been out for a turn before they can block. You play it, they can block right away.
Okay. So should we go through the scenario? I'm just curious. Like,
Sure.
Okay, so I'm bringing out my joining forces.
Yeah, so you'll tap your lands.
Tap my lands. Cool. And then now I'm going to...
And so now it says untap up to 2 target creatures. They're already untapped, so you don't have to worry about that. And then they'll give both your creatures an extra 2 power and toughness for the turn.
Oh, okay. All right.
So now they both have 3 power and 3 toughness.
Okay, so 3 power and 3 toughness, and then how do I say that I want to attack you?
You just say, I'll attack, and then you'll tap the creatures to attack.
Okay, I'm going to attack. So then I tap.
Yeah, well once this effect has already been put into place, so then it's been used and it will go into your discard pile.
Okay,
So it's
so
not a creature.
So it's there.
Yeah, it'll go face up.
Oh, face up. Okay, cool. So I'm going to attack.
Okay, so now I have the option to either take the 6 damage or block. Because I have only 6 health,
Right.
I have to block. So I'll
Okay.
block one of your creatures. And so now what happens is I'll deal my damage to your toughness and you'll deal your damage to my toughness. So I'll deal 1 damage. Yours has 3 toughness because of your instant spell. And then yours does 3 damage and I have 2 toughness. So mine will die, but yours will still live.
Okay.
And then this will just deal the 3 damage to me. So I'll go down to 3 life.
Okay.
And then if you have anything else you can do, you can do it. If not, you can just pass the turn.
I think I've done enough damage, so I'm going to pass the turn.
Okay, and now that buff is gone, so they won't have the extra power and toughness. It just says until end of turn.
All right.
So I'll draw my card. I'm going to play this mountain. I'm going to cast Twinferno. And so whenever I cast my next instant or sorcery spell, I can choose to copy it. So instead of it having the effect once, I'll have it twice. So that will be like a static until the end of my turn. So that doesn't do anything to affect the board state right now.
Okay.
But then I'm going to cast Flowstone Infusion. And because it's an instant, it says instant here. It will copy, so I'll get 2 instances. So like, we can say, this is another instance of this, and so they're 2 separate parts of the spell. So this one can target 1 creature, and this one can target another creature. So like, for this one, it can give it +2 on the power, but it'll give it -2 on the health. So if it does, so like, it would kill your thing since it only has 1 health. It will go below that. So I'm going to use one of mine to kill your thing, and I'll use the other copy to kill your thing.
Okay.
So when the splatter golem does, does this thing go into effect when the splatter golem
Yeah,
dies?
because it's dying, it'll have that effect.
All right.
So it says give a creature -1, -1. So it's a similar thing to this, except it gives it -1 on the power and -1 on the toughness. So like I'm killing this one, but this one would still technically be around.
So does that mean that since this one gets -1, this one would be 0/0, and since it has no HP, it dies?
Yeah.
All right.
So now
Alright,
all
I'll
the
do that.
creatures died because I killed these two, and then you killed that one with your ability.
All right. So wow, we're all going to the graveyard.
And then my spells got used, so they'll go into the discard pile.
Okay.
So
Do we leave them? We leave them.
Yeah, you leave your lands tapped until your
okay.
turn. And then I don't have any more mana, so I'm just going to pass the turn over to you.
so I can now like re-get my land.
Yeah, so you untap, and then you'll draw your card.
All right, and draw a card,
Ooh, that's a cool looking card.
and then I just play it.
Uh-huh.
And now you look to see if you have anything that costs 3 or less mana.
I can play this one.
Yeah.
And so you'll tap your lands to signify that you've used the lands to cast your spell.
Oh wait! You draw a card and you lose 1 life. What's that?
So it means you'll draw a card off the deck,
All right.
but then you'll use a life to do that. So you'll go from 6 down to 5.
All right.
And then because you cast your spell and you use the mana to do it, you'll just tap your lands. Take it slow, take your time if you're just starting to get into the game. And it takes lots of time to really get the grasp of the rules and be really good at it. I mean, I've been playing for a very long time, but it was very slow going when I first started.
Untap it all. Attack.
And then you draw.
Thing. I draw. And I play this.
Well, and then you'll have this trigger.
Okay. So you have to sacrifice a non-land, non-token permanent, and if you don't, you lose 2 life, and I get to draw another card.
So either you can just sacrifice this, so it'll go to the graveyard, or you'll lose 2 of your life.
I'll use 2 of my life.
All right, and then you'll draw a card because of that.
So I'm going to 4. Okay.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to sacrifice this and play this cut down, and I'm going to destroy this.
Well, so it says total power and toughness. So what you do is you combine the total power and the toughness. So this is 4 plus 4, which is 8, and 8 is unfortunately greater than 5. So you can't kill it with this spell.
Oh, okay. I guess I'll just leave that, and I'll untap that, and I think instead I will play the Tyrannical Pit Lord and tap every single one of these. Yeah.
All right. So first, when you cast it, you get to choose one of your creatures to give an extra power and toughness to.
All right. It's that much.
Yeah. So first you have the Defiler ability. So you can choose one of these 2 and give it +1/+1.
I'll choose this one.
All right. And now when this one it enters the battlefield, you choose another one of your creatures. So again, you could choose one of these, and then whichever one you choose, it gets +3/+3 and has the flying ability for as long as this is on the battlefield.
Alright, so as long as this thing is on the battlefield, I won't have to sacrifice anything.
Yeah, so as long as it's on the battlefield, whichever creature you choose will have an extra 3 power and 3 toughness, and will have flying.
Alright, that one, and I will use this to attack that.
Well, no, so you attack the player.
Oh, to attack the player, yeah.
And so it has flying because you chose it with this, and flying means...
Actually, I'll choose this one to attack.
Okay, so that's, well, you can attack with both.
Oh, I'll attack with both then.
All right, so they tap, and they both have flying. And so flying means that when they attack, they can only be blocked by other creatures that have either flying or reach. And so yours has vigilance, but that's not flying or reach, so you can't block. So this is this one is 8 power, and this one is 4 power. So this is 12 damage.
All right.
Killed me. Wow.
Great job.
All right.
Good job, Ian. What do you think?
This is fun.
I thought you'd like it.